after Stephanie White departed the Connecticut Sun for an Indiana Fever head coaching job, the Sun became one of a whopping 6 WNBA teams searching for a head coach. There were a number of viable candidates who were fired from other WNBA franchises this offseason, like the Sparks' Kurt Miller, the Sky's Teresa Weatherspoon, the Wings' Latricia Trammell, the Dreams' Tanisha Wright, and the Mystics' Eric Thibault. But rather than simply select one of the recently fired coaches, the Sun turned overseas, opting to hire Rachid Méziane, a renowned French professional basketball coach. Méziane currently serves as head coach of Villeneuve-d'Ascq, a French club that was the EuroLeague runner-up winners in each of the last 2 seasons. He also coaches the Belgian women's national team that came in 4th place at the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sun hiring continues a league-wide trend of looking elsewhere for new head coaches, whether college or overseas, rather than the existing WNBA pool. The Sparks snagged Lynn Roberts, the veteran head coach of the University of Utah, while the Dream hired Carl Smesko, who coached Florida Gulf Coast for more than 20 years. The decision to tap into the NCAA landscape indicates franchises' desire to get creative when retooling their coaching staff, even if that means bringing in head coaches who are brand new to the WNBA. Nate Thibbets, who became the Mercury's head coach last year, similarly didn't have WNBA experience before accepting the position. The varying backgrounds of new hires also signals that as the WNBA's popularity has grown, franchises simply have more options. I think it's moving in a good direction because it's more competitive and there's more eyes on it. The pool of coaches that we can choose from can only get bigger and bigger, Lexi Hull said on the Ringer WNBA show. We're going to have great coaches coming up, and just excited to see what those eras look like. It's unpredictable at this point, but I'm excited to see what it will look like a year from now. In the world of basketball, where fierce competition is the norm, it's the connections off the court that often steal the show. Lexi Hull, a rising star in the WNBA, has found herself in the midst of a heartwarming exchange that connects her to both Connor McCaffrey, an assistant coach for the Butler Bulldogs, and Caitlin Clark, one of the most dominant players in women's basketball. Now, a recent Instagram exchange further highlights the relationships at play. Hull's performance on the court has made her a key figure in women's basketball. Drafted by the Indiana Fever as the 6th overall pick in the 2022 WNBA draft, the number 10 has steadily made an impact in the league. In the 2024 season, she averaged 5.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and 1.1 assists per game. However, it was her defensive skills and her clutch catch and shoot threes that won over the Indiana fans. She has also earned accolades for her time with Athletes Unlimited, where she was named both Defensive Player of the Year and Teammate of the Year. As of the 2024 season, she continues to shine as an all-around player, contributing both offensively and defensively to the Fever's success. But Hull's influence extends beyond just her on-court achievements. It's her leadership and presence both in and out of the court on Clark's side that is catching attention. Hull and Clark have always been known to be thick as thieves, especially in the recent off-season when the two made constant appearances on each other's social media platforms for either food reviews or be in the stands watching the latest game between the Colts and the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. Not to mention the viral video of the point guard commentating on an MLB matchup between the Milwaukee Brewers and Philadelphia Phillies, which took place in Hull's apartment. and their quirky back and forth during a post-game presser where Clark even mentioned that the Stanford alum is improving because she is spending time with her. In fact, Fever writer Scott Agnes recently tweeted a picture of Clark along with her boyfriend Connor McCaffrey and teammate Lexi Hull as spectators cheering for the Indiana-based franchise. While Hull continues to stand by Clark's side, McCaffrey's commitment to Butler is also drawing attention. Despite a narrow loss to UConn, his gratitude and leadership shone through, especially as he engaged with fans on social media. In a game where his younger brother Patrick scored 17 points, the Bulldogs, now 7-6 in the Big East, fought hard but fell short. Ranked 71st in the NCAA men's basketball net rankings, Butler currently holds a 53.8% win percentage, ranked 191st in the nation. In the end, the bond between McCaffrey, Hull and Clark highlights the unmatched camaraderie among basketball's elite. Whether on the court or off, their mutual respect and support are a testament to the powerful connections sports can create. Caitlin Clark was officially named the AP Women's Athlete of the Year for 2024 on Tuesday. The former Iowa Hawkeyes star, who became the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft, going to the Indiana Fever, had quite the 2024. She led Iowa to the NCAA tournament national title game, became the top pick in the WNBA draft, led the Indiana Fever to the playoffs, and broke all sorts of TV ratings records. She's clearly the face of women's basketball, and deservedly so at this point. Clark became the 4th women's basketball player to receive the award, joining Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, and Candace Parker. I grew up a fan of Candace Parker, and the people who came before me, and to be honored in this way is super special, and I'm thankful, Clark said. It was a great year for women's basketball and women's sports. There were 74 sports journalists from the Associated Press and its members that voted on the award. However, Clark did not receive all 74 votes. Clark's rise to stardom has also brought the WNBA to new heights. An average of more than 2 million people tuned in to see Clark's WNBA debut with the Indiana Fever on ESPN, and her appearances have driven historic ticket sales for the league. More people watched the WNBA championship game this year than each game the NBA Finals or MLB's World Series. The 22-year-old was picked first by the Indiana Fever in the WNBA draft, just days after leading Iowa to the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship game, breaking the all-time college scoring record in the process. Clark started in all 40 regular season games with the Fever, averaging 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists. Her stellar play helped the Fever reach the WNBA playoffs for the first time since 2016. Kelsey, the Olympic boxer, received 4 votes for the award. She was the most Googled athlete of the year after going viral at the Summer Olympics in Paris. She was allowed to compete in Paris despite reportedly testing high for testosterone. Clark, meanwhile, remains thankful for all of the support she's been receiving. "I'm thankful for the people I got to do it with," Clark said. "A year ago, I was still in the early part of my senior year in college. How fast things change. And now I can see how great a college season it was." Along the way, Time writes, Clark has energized both the league and its surging fan base. "You feel powerful," Clark told the magazine. "Instantly, everybody goes crazy. People are invested in the game. They love the game, and that's what makes it so fun for me. These people aren't supporting women's sports to check a box. It's going to be the new normal." Caitlin Clark raised the profile of women's basketball to unprecedented levels in both the college ranks and the WNBA. And Tuesday, she was named the AP Female Athlete of the Year for her impact on and off the court. After leading Iowa to the national championship game, Clark was the top pick in the WNBA draft, as expected, and went on to win Rookie of the Year, honors in the league. Fans packed sold-out arenas, and millions of television viewers tuned in to follow her journey. Clark's exploits were far-reaching, casting a light on other women's sports leagues along the way. A group of 74 sports journalists from the Associated Press and its members voted on the award. Clark received 35 votes. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles was second with 25, and boxer Imani Khalif was third, getting 4 votes. I grew up a fan of Candace Parker and the people who came before me, and to be honored in this way is super special, and I'm thankful, Clark said in a phone interview. It was a great year for women's basketball and women's sports. Shohei Ohtani won the AP Male Athlete of the Year on Monday for the 3rd time. Clark broke the NCAA Division I career scoring record for both men and women, finishing her career with 3,951 points while guiding Iowa to its 2nd consecutive national championship game. After her Hawkeyes lost to South Carolina for the title, Gamecocks coach Dawn Staley took the mic during her team's celebration and said, "I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. For all the success Clark has had, and the attention she has brought to women's basketball, she is often the centerpiece of debates and online toxicity toward her and other players in the league." For her part, Clark has disavowed the toxic discourse. Lobo also has been impressed with the way the 22-year-old Clark has handled the pressure and attention that has come her way. I would say she's navigated it almost flawlessly. She hasn't had any big missteps or misspeaks at a time you're under constant scrutiny, Lobo said. She's seemed to say and do all the right things. That's just incredible at a time when it's constant attention and scrutiny. She has not done anything to tarnish this sort of mild persona she has. As Clark handled the praise and the backlash during the heat of competition, it was hard for her to appreciate just what she was able to accomplish over the past year. But after having time to reflect on the whirlwind tour, she appreciates those who were there alongside her for the ride. "I'm thankful for the people I got to do it with," Clark said. "A year ago, I was still in the early part of my senior year in college. How fast things change, and now I can see how great a college season it was. Iowa sold out all of its games at home and on the road, with Clark as the main attraction. That momentum continued into the pros. Her number 22 jersey was prevalent wherever she played during her rookie season and will be retired at Iowa. You'd be remiss not to acknowledge how crazy her fan base is and the eyes she gets with everything she does," said Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton, who was often spotted courtside at Clark's Indiana Fever games. "It's a different type of popularity. She's one of the most popular athletes in the world. It's not just women's sports anymore. It's really cool to see, and she just handles it with such grace." Clark said she enjoys spending time with fans at games, usually taking a few minutes before and after games to sign autographs. "For me, it's still really fun," she said. "Whether it's 15 seconds or 10 seconds or 5 seconds can be very impactful in a young girl and young boy's life. Seeing the fans going crazy an hour before tip-off, I never take that for granted. That's super cool, and I never want that to go away." After a slow start to her WNBA career, Clark eventually found her stride there too. She set the single-game assist record with 19, and also had 337 assists on the season to break that mark as well. Clark, known for her logo-distance three-pointers, was the fastest player to reach 100 threes when she did it in 34 games, which helped Indiana reach the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Lobo, who won the AP Female Athlete of the Year award after lifting UConn to its first national championship, was on the court for launch of the WNBA 2 years later. The ESPN analyst sees Clark's ascension as something different,